A man who tried to murder and strangle repeatedly his ex-partner has been sentenced to 20 years in prison. Last summer, Michael Cosgrove strangled Kerry Allan 3 times until she became unconscious. Concerned neighbours phoned the police after they heard Kelly screaming.
He has been sentenced, and it comes as the Crown Prosecution Service tells this programme they have seen a 40% increase in non-fatal strangulation and suffocation offences in the last year. This is just a terrible story, but it's a story about survival because Kerry joins us now. Very good morning to you, alongside Bernie Ryan, who is the Chief Executive of the Institute for Addressing Strangulation. Absolutely shocking we even have to have an institute for addressing this. Yeah. So we'll talk to you in just a moment, Bernie. Kerry, you must be relieved.
Extremely relieved,
yeah.
Massively relieved.
So tell us about the sentence. What is the sentence? How does it make you feel to know he's behind bars for such a long period of time?
20 years. I feel like I got like a massive weight lifted off my shoulder now. And I feel vindicated. And I'm happy that he's got such a long sentence. I hope it sends a message to any male or female that thinks it can abuse women or treat anybody like that, because it's not acceptable.
He strangled you 3 times that night,
yeah.
Didn't he? And he told you he was going to finish you off.
Repeatedly.
Yeah? How much of it do you remember?
Luckily, I'd probably say about 90% of it, thank God. Which was good for me because I was able to give tons of evidence. Even when I woke up and when it took me probably about 10 minutes to get my head together, but I knew straight away what had happened.
Thank God for your neighbours.
Yeah, they saved my life, literally.
They actually heard you
yeah,
screaming.
They heard everything, and they recorded it. So they made audio recordings of him screaming and shouting and being abusive, which we used in court.
And they called the police?
They called the police.
And when the police arrived, what did they find?
So when the police arrived, they found me upstairs unconscious on the bed, face down. And he'd escaped at that point out of the bathroom window.
But they tracked him down?
Yeah. They found him in my car 8 hours later.
Did he ever express any remorse?
None. Nothing.
Did he ever say why he'd done it?
No. He denied it all. He's never admitted anything.
It's so dreadful. Bernie, this is an absolutely horrific case, and Kerry says, I mean, there, but for the grace of God, you know, she could have been dead. And thank goodness you are here to tell your story. We're seeing a rise in this sort of attack, and part of domestic abuse, but also this horrifying rise is part of consensual sex amongst younger people. What are you seeing in the research?
So I just want to say Kerry's courage to tell her story is incredible. And it does send a clear message to people that if you've experienced strangulation, there is help and support out there, and it will be taken seriously. In Kerry's case, she clearly had severe injuries, and the CPS are to be commended for introducing expert evidence and getting expert reports. But we know that in more than half of cases, there is no visible evidence. But that doesn't negate the seriousness of strangulation. So the injuries could be significant, the internal injuries could be significant.
What's happening? I mean, I can remember as a young news reporter covering court cases involving strangulation was pretty rare. It was pretty rare. And certainly as a sexual fetish, it seemed to be, well, frankly, almost non-existent.
Yeah.
We've seen the figures, up 40%. What's going on?
So the non-fatal strangulation and suffocation were introduced in 2022 as standalone offences. So now we can see that they're recorded as non-fatal strangulation. So
why is it happening?
We'll see a natural increase in that. So it's part of coercive controlling behaviour, so we do see it in domestic abuse and sexual violence, but we are seeing strangulation as part of consensual sex, an increase in that. And I think we've got to think about the exposure of pornography or access to pornography.
Which is normalising.
More readily accessible, and social media. So, you know, young people might think that it's okay because everybody else is doing it, but they don't understand the risk.
That must horrify you when you see that. I mean, on social media, it's part of a kind of jokey culture around sex sometimes, isn't it?
I've seen that loads over the last 12 months as well, when we've had articles published online about this, and I've read the comment section, and I'd say 90% of it has been positive, but there's comments normalising it and making it into a joke, and I can't get my head around that. I can't fathom how anybody could try and make light or joke of such a horrendous thing.
Well, because the risk, the risk factors medically are phenomenal. I mean, you are cutting off oxygen to the brain. You can give somebody permanent brain damage, let alone possibly kill them.
So the risks are unconsciousness, brain injury and death. And I think we just have to...
horrifying.
I think that people don't actually understand the medical risks. We don't yet understand the cumulative risk of repeated strangulation. So there's so much more that we need to do.
I can't believe we're having to discuss it. I can't believe you've got an institute to address it. I can't believe we're seeing an increase in it on social media, in pornography. I can't... It's horrifying. Kerry, what would you say to people who are in a relationship where they're either being pressured to indulge in this sort of sexual activity that they may not want to, or they're in a relationship where they're experiencing the kind of red flags that you acknowledge you were experiencing before it went too far? What would you say to women, young women, any woman?
I would say anyone, if something feels uncomfortable to you and you know deep down that something doesn't feel right, that's instantly a red flag to you, and that's something that you need to address. And when I look back now, that's something I ignored, and I made allowances that put me in so much danger, and there's no safe way to strangle anybody.
No.
And if you are experiencing red flags or somebody, because being abusive doesn't always start off with being physical. This is the first time that Michael was ever physical with me. He'd never been physical before this night. He'd been really aggressive, and that in itself is a red flag, which escalated over 12 months. But if you're in that sort of situation, please speak to somebody, because I didn't. Speak to somebody, because there's so much help you can get. There's so many services that you can be directed to.
Well, we have put a lot of those resources on our online presence. Thank you both so much, Kerry. Well done for being so brave, for speaking out, for enduring what you endured. That court case must have been hellish, but thank goodness it was worth it. Exactly right. Thank you both.
Good luck with rebuilding the rest of your life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and go online if you're affected by that issue, if you are looking for help and resources because you are in a relationship that may have those red flags, itv.com/helplines, or indeed you have a family member who's affected and you want to help.